At the outset of this investigation, there were two very clear allegations for us to look into. One, that Mr. Clark was handcuffed by the officers, and two, that he was then shot, as people described, execution style, once he was on the ground with no struggle. We made a commitment to the family and to the community that we would be thorough and independent. And during our investigation, we took extra steps in order to make certain that we were fulfilling that commitment. Given the lack of bruising, the lack of Mr. Clark's DNA on the handcuffs, and the deeply conflicted testimony about whether he was handcuffed, we determined that we could not pursue this case based on a prosecution theory that Mr. Clark was handcuffed at the time that he was shot. And in fact, we reached the conclusion, based on all of the evidence that we reviewed, that the evidence suggested that Mr. Clark was not, in fact, handcuffed when he was shot. Officer Riggenberg's gun tested positive for Mr. Clark's DNA. Once again, this evidence, like no one piece of evidence, can be called conclusive, in part because the tests cannot determine how the DNA got on the gun. However, that's not the test for us. The presence of Mr. Clark's DNA on the gun would make for a powerful argument in favor of the defense if the case were to go to trial. And that is what we have to take into account in determining whether to bring charges. For the family, for the community, for the police department, and for the cause of justice, experienced, highly trained agents and prosecutors worked for months to find and examine facts to determine if there is a criminal civil rights case that can be brought here. We have all concluded that no such case can be made.